Morning, Manan. Are you on? Manan, can you hear me?
Are you speaking to me, Renee?
No. I'm our supplier, Manan.
Sorry.
No problem. Manan, if you can hear me, then we can just test your presentation quickly.
Okay, I have to unmute. Hi, morning.
Morning, Manan. How are you?
I am very well. I hope you all are well.
Okay, I'm going to quickly make you host and
All
then
right.
you can just test your presentation quickly.
Thanks, Renee.
Okay, and Manan, it's Angela. Just
Hi, Angela.
just from a pricing perspective, we can refer them all to the website because we've got some packages on there, but we can
Right.
chat about that a bit later. So do you want to just test and see if you can share your screen and then we can test it quickly before all come on?
Yeah, absolutely. Just allow me.
No problem.
So you have to, okay, multiple participation.
There's a share screen, a green share screen there at the
Yeah.
bottom. Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Looks like it's come on. Perfect. Do you want to just test it? Do you want
Yeah,
to
I just need to test the videos.
Perfect.
Do you have the sound with you?
It's quite soft. No, not really. Have you got your computer sound on? Because normally you have to just go into the display setting and put your computer sound on when it comes to the videos.
Okay, I go into display settings.
Yeah, let's just see swap, duplicate, swap presenter view slide. No, that's not working.
Yeah, okay, just a moment.
I could hear it in the beginning, but then it was a bit
Yeah, I
soft.
think it's usually there in the beginning. Just a moment.
Okay, no problem.
I go to more, post setting, disable high video panel, meetings, talk, chats.
View options, let's just see.
Okay, adjust mirror, advanced recording. Okay, this is not the one. Let's say end slideshow. Stop share. Let me do the share again. Okay, now I have to switch on the sound share and this is done.
Okay, let's try.
Can you get the screen on your systems?
Yes, I can see the screen.
And just check the sound.
Okay. Yeah, that's better.
Is it better now?
Yes, much better, Manan. That's great. Yeah, it's working.
All right, so let me just run through. So these videos are working. So overall, I'm just going to talk about the destination and how the new protocols are going to be affecting the travel in time to come, and finishing off with the question answer round. So it's going to be, my videos are going to be a bit more exhaustive. I've got 3 videos with me. 2 of them are 4 minutes each, and 1 is going to be 3 minutes, and 1 I have for 1 minute. Would that be okay?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's a new destination for everyone, so I think it'll be great. And we've got the time, so there's no rush. What we'll do is, obviously everybody's still logging on now, so we'll wait another 6 minutes or so. But
right.
At least everything's working, so that's good news.
I just wanted to see all my slides are there. Okay,
yeah,
great.
No problem. So maybe you want to stop share and then we'll just go in when everybody's joined. So we'll just wait another 5 minutes or so, Manan, if that's okay.
Okay. So let me just stop share and we can be. How are you keeping everything okay?
Yes, everything's fine.
How's everybody at home?
Yeah, everybody's fine at home. Thank you. We're all safe, and we're working a few days in the office and a few days at home still. How's everything in India going?
See, the good news with India is that it should be open for international travel from, in all probability, month of March.
Which date?
They haven't confirmed the date till now, but we should be getting to know the date either on 25th or 26th of February. So we still have some time. That's what these guys are saying, that it should be, the government is saying it should be open to tourists from the month of March. So we still have some time about confirming the dates. But once it happens, the advantage with India is all of a sudden the rate of COVID recovery is 97%. So that and vaccination, our vaccination drive is on, and also I understand a lot of vaccinations have been sent across to South Africa and a lot of other countries from India as well. So it is turning out to be pretty effective.
Okay, that's good. And Manan, are you guys back in the office, or are you still working from home?
We like you, we also visit the office once a week, but we're not doing it everyday basis because it's no point going to the office. Most of the queries are being handled at home, but once a week I go to the office, and once every fortnight I usually invite the team over to the office where we just do brainstorming and how to re-engineer and probably have a better effective businesses solutions in probably time to come.
Absolutely. Oh no, that's good. And infections then have come down. I mean, the recovery rate is very good, and the infections, are they quite high at the moment, or all right?
No. In last 1 month, we've only got 900 infections reported. So that's a very low infection rate, wherein we were talking about 100,000 every week. Talking about 900, that's a very minuscule number.
Absolutely. Okay.
So the numbers are very low.
Okay, well, that's good news. Okay. And then will India open to all countries, do you think, or maybe still selected?
See, in my opinion, they will still be selective, but too early to even comment what these guys are going to do, because sometimes the political decisions are really not in our hands.
Absolutely, we know the story. Okay, all right.
How are things? How are things in South Africa? Is it getting better?
We have, we've certainly, we had a second wave, and we've certainly seen a bit of a decline in the last few days. So it has come down, but schools have gone back and a few things have opened. So we'll probably see a bit of a peak, a little bit, it'll probably get a bit high again, but then hopefully it'll come down again. But yeah, we're waiting to see what rollout of the vaccine will be and which countries will allow us and which countries won't. So we'll just have to hang in there and wait.
Yeah, I think, South Africa, especially with the this modified virus strain, you may have a bit of challenges as well.
Sadly, yes. Oh,
because but yes, once the world opens to everybody, it's going to be available to. Then once the vaccination starts coming in, it's going to be open to everybody. In what I feel is, because right now, but then you were having a lot of tourists which were coming earlier before the second wave came in. South Africa opened to people, and that's where the crew brought in a lot of virus strains as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we just have to remain positive, and I think the reason we're focusing on Sri Lanka is because
that's what we are doing for last 1 year now.
Yes, I know. Challenging times. Anyway, Manan, thank you for joining us today. We're very excited about training everybody up on Sri Lanka. I see we've got at least 48 people that are on so far. So if you want to maybe introduce yourself, and then you're welcome to start, because people can just join from there. Thanks, Manan.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you from, or I should say good morning to you from India. Namaste, that's how we greet everybody in India. And on behalf of Thompson's, let me introduce you to Thompson's India. Sorry, I take that liberty, Angela, but that's how I've always introduced myself. We are your extended arm in India. We are a DMC operating out of New Delhi, the headquarters, and have been handling Thompson's business for last 4 years now, and we have seen substantial growth year on year. Unfortunately, we've had COVID, which challenged us big time, but things are going to change. And I'm of this firm belief that, you know, if good days are not there, bad days never remain. We have been doing a lot of presentations on India. We've done it on Palace on Wheels. We've done it on a bit on Nepal as well. We've done a couple of presentations on Sri Lanka. We did a dedicated presentation on Kerala during the lockdown time. I firmly believe that all these trainings are definitely essential, because that's what we can't invite you right now to India, but that's the best way of getting closer to you. And I would like to take this opportunity to run you through this entire presentation of Sri Lanka. It may be slightly longish, because this is a new destination for all of you. I'm sure some of you would have visited the destination, but still it would be a newer destination after the new COVID protocols, what the country has introduced. So I will start sharing my presentation now. And Angela, once you give me a go ahead, I will start the presentation, and I will be open to question answer round later at the end of the presentation. Would that be okay?
Perfect. You can go ahead, Manan. You can just share screen, then I'll let you know it's working. There we go. You're welcome to carry on. Thanks, Manan.
Thank you very much. So our session today revolves around an exotic paradise that has been seething into the jet setters' collective conscience. Sitting in the Indian Ocean, the southernmost tip of India is a small Buddhist island, which is also known as Ceylon. So when we talk about Ceylon tea, we talk about Ceylon coffee at one point of time, they all come from Sri Lanka. Unfortunately, the country had also experienced the longest civil war in the history of modern world. Still, the country is very resilient. This has re-established, managed to introduce itself in the minds of luxury travel, and the country is also known for one of the great oceanic shores of the world. The country has always enticed the tales of spices and civilizations to various travelers, and have attracted them to, you know, the beautiful Teardrop Island. So I'm going to run this video. We will have multiple videos. The longest video will be of 4 minutes, but it's going to be interesting. So at least this gives you an idea of what we are talking about as a destination. So, you know, post this entire, this name has been just coming every second sentence, this COVID scenario, the country has completely rebooted itself and has introduced a lot of protocols. On 21st of January, the country opened itself to the world. We were once amongst the very few privileged travel companies to have handled the first clients coming from Germany into Sri Lanka. So we have had a small family of 4. They came on a multi-generation holiday to Sri Lanka, and we were really excited. But yes, this was their 73rd visit to Sri Lanka over the years when they have been traveling. So under the new protocol, the visa fee has been enhanced from $25 per person to $35 per person. So this is the new enhancement. Getting visas to Sri Lanka is very, very, very convenient. It's a 10 minutes job to get visas to Sri Lanka, and everything is done online. I will be sending Angie the link for everything to the portal where you can get the visas from. But yes, the new visa fee is up by $10. There is no mandatory stay in Sri Lanka. That means you don't have to stay for 14 nights or 15 nights or 30 nights, initially what was proposed. So there is no mandatory stay. You can stay for 3 nights, and you can even stay for 10 nights. Usual program to Sri Lanka ranges between 7 to 10 nights is a good program to Sri Lanka, unless somebody wants a sun and beach holiday on the beach with a 7 or probably 5 or 7 nights of an extension. There is no mandatory institutional quarantine anywhere. So that is another positive impact on the travelers. So nobody gets quarantined when you are traveling to Sri Lanka. So it's a free flow holiday. Yes, the country has decided few hotels. They have selected a list of 78 hotels, which they have ranked as level 1 hotels for the foreign tourists to be used. Then there are level 2 and level 3 hotels, which are used for the South Asian Federation countries and the domestic travelers. Except for UK at the moment, everybody else is free to travel down to India. Also, when you travel to Sri Lanka, every hotel, the moment you check in, will also attract a USD 12 per person insurance cover, which would cover you for USD 50,000 while your stay in India. This is a mandatory thing which is going to be issued by People Insurance Company in Sri Lanka, which is done at the first point of check-in into your hotels. So that will cover any uncalled situations which might occur while you're traveling to India. But I think this will stay on for another 1 year. So we have to start in building this cost. There is a mandatory PCR test, which is done for a period of 10 days, which is also going to be done at your first point of entry, which is for USD $40 per person. These are new changes which has been introduced over last 1 week. And you definitely, once you are arriving into Sri Lanka, or your clients are arriving into Sri Lanka, there is a declaration form what you have to submit. But if you're coming all the way with your certificate from your country that you are vaccinated, then this certification may cease to exist. A uniqueness about Sri Lanka, as the country, it's a very small country, but very diverse with landscape, history, and it was known as Ceylon, then it came to known as Serendip, not serendipity, but Serendip, and even it's known as a paradise. So it's very, very beautiful, very distinct, and probably I would say it's the culinar's paradise as well. So it is very strong with pilgrim, it's very strong with wildlife. Almost 28% of the land is with the wildlife parks. They've got ancient history. So they have 7 World Heritage Sites in Sri Lanka. They've got city tours, especially there are 3 big cities, Kandy, Colombo, and Trincomalee, which I'm going to cover in my following slides. Then there is Ayurveda. They have got spectacular adventures, which is about diving, whale surfing. They have spice gardens. Also, they have a very, very stunning botanical gardens as well. Spa, very popular for meetings and conferencing, and excellent water sports. Amongst the top cities of Sri Lanka, we have Negombo, we have Sigiriya, we have, some of them may sound as tongue twisters for you, but please bear with me. So we have Negombo, Sigiriya, Polonorva, and Anuradhapura. Polonorva and Anuradhapura are very, very historic and are dedicated more to the Buddhist life. Then we have Kadula, Jaffna, and Trincomalee. This is on the east coast. Then Kandy, Nuvra Elia, and Gaul. This is southeast province and Yala and Colombo, Colombo being the capital city and Yala being the largest wildlife park. So this video, what I'm going to run is going to be actually covering the entire Sri Lanka as such, which I would explain you in all my forthcoming slides.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now arrived at Bandaranayaka International.
This video also depicts the recent updation with regards to your standard operating procedures on Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has also been declared as the safe destination by World Travel Trade Council as well.
Katanayaka, we wish you a pleasant stay in Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now arrived at Bandaranayaka International Airport, Katanayaka. We wish you a pleasant stay in Sri Lanka.
Sorry, I think something went wrong here. So let me just run this through again.
We have now arrived at Bandaranayaka International Airport, Katanayaka. We wish you a pleasant stay in Sri Lanka.
that was a presentation which actually encompassed what Sri Lanka will have to offer you. Now, if you look at this map, Sri Lanka is it's a very small but a very diverse country. If I'm moving my cursor, predominantly you can divide the country into basically southwest zone and southeast zone, which are majorly touristic. All these dark green patches are the wildlife parks. Southwest zone, where I'm moving the cursor, gets a lot of rain from May till October. So it gets southwest monsoon, and the east coast predominantly is dry during that time. So when I say dry, so if you drive from just 100 kilometers from Sigiriya to Trincomalee, you're going to get a lot of sunshine. When I say it's going to get a lot of rain, that doesn't mean it's a torrential rain. So you get spurts of rain almost everyday basis between May and October. And similarly, on the southeastern side, end of October is the monsoon time, when you get a lot of receding monsoons from the Bay of Bengal, which comes from India. So this Yala National Park, ideally, if you ask me, should be closed during December, but it is mostly touristic at that point of time, and that's the best time to see the leopards. Amongst the major tourist attractions, we've got Sigiriya, we've got Anuradhapura, we've got Kandy, and just around Anuradhapura is Polonorva, then we go Kandy, Hatton Plains. These are the flatlands and the highlands, all in the proximity of 100 kilometers. Yala is one of the finest parks, but there are multiple national parks. You've got a Singharaja National Park, which is one of the finest and a World Heritage Site as well. And southwest of the zone is mostly coast beach with stunning coastline, starting from Colombo till Marissa Point. So I've just done this presentation based on the itinerary format. I will skip Sigiriya at the moment because I'm going to run you through firstly to Anuradhapura first. So there are 21 million people living in a small piece of land, out of which 70% are Buddhist, 10% are Hindus, mostly Tamils, like the population you have in Durban, 10% are Muslims, and 10% Christianity. So, you know, it's a very peaceful country. Tamils have been there for more than 1,000 years, and Buddhism came to Sri Lanka almost 22,200 years back. I'm going to come back to Sigiriya, but I'm going to show you Anuradhapura first, because in the map, Anuradhapura, so there are options of going to Anuradhapura straight. Anuradhapura was the seat of Buddhist capital during the medieval times, and it's one of the most beautiful places as well. Mainly, it was the seat of governance, a lot of beautiful stupas, and the Buddhist center for the country. It still is the Buddhist center for the country. Buddhism in Sri Lanka is very different from the Himalayan Buddhism, which is in Tibet or in Ladakh in India, or if you see that in Nepal. It's very, very different. It's the same Buddhism in Sri Lanka, what people in Thailand and Myanmar practice. So what happened was in the 10th century, one of the Chola rulers from India, Tamil Nadu, at that point of time, it was the Tamil kingdom. So they came and actually overthrew the ruler of Anuradhapura, and they made Polonorva as the capital in the 10th century. And then they moved the capital to Polonorva. They have some stunning sites of Sleeping Buddha, very, very beautiful. It's a World Heritage Site, and now it has become the political center as well, purely based on the fact that this is the most popular Buddhist site in Sri Lanka. You cannot take anything to eat in any of these sites. It's very unique about Sri Lanka, but they do not permit anything, any food products or water to be carried on to any of these Buddhist sites, because it's still very sacred. So I'm going to come back to Sigiriya now. So now you see this map. So Sigiriya is the center. Colombo to Sigiriya is actually 175 kilometers, 4 to 4.5 hours of drive under normal conditions. And then Sigiriya can actually be the center of all these activities. You can do a day trip to Anuradhapura. It's a full days of an excursion, which is very nice. And then you can do a day trip to Polonorva, and while going, or probably you can do Polonorva while going to Kandy. So Sigiriya ideally fits into the itineraries very well. Usually recommended stay in Sigiriya is for minimum for 3 nights. It's stunningly beautiful. Also known for this rock cut fortress there. There is so much to do in Sigiriya besides the history. You have, there is amazing rock there, which is almost 2 billion years old. In the Dutch terminology, it's also known as the Inselburg as well. You can climb up this fort and see the remains of the foundation of fortress and the tags still remaining there. On the western side of the fortress, these are some amazing frescoes. So you have to, it's a full day of an excursion. Not recommended for people who are elderly because you have to climb up the fortress and there is no escalators. You have to walk up. Excellent with regards to an experience of climbing up. There is a mandatory entrance to get into the fortress onto this rock, which is like $45 per person as a part of the World Heritage Site. You also have this option while you are in Sigiriya to see this fortress from another hike called Pidurungla. So it's a 2 hours of a hike from your hotel to go on to the opposite side of this fort and have a nice, probably a picnic lunch, or you can do probably a day's excursion there. Why I'm suggesting this is just in case the clients don't want to climb the fortress, they can climb this mountain or probably a hillock and have a better experience and still not pay $45 as an entrance. But yes, as most tourists would like to do this once in their visit, it's like everybody would like to climb the fortress. I've been there a couple of times, but people always say you don't have to do everything every time. So I've been there, I've climbed this fortress twice. Great experience, but yes, it's not like you can do this every time. Sigiriya also has got a lot of amazing hotels. Most of them are boutique in nature. So one night of stay in Sigiriya may not be at the right justice. Most of the hotels also are the probably the house for a lot of ecosystem there. Not carnivores, but yes, most of them are herbivores. You've got a lot of loris, a lot of fishing cats, otters, jungle cats, and many birds in and around the hotels. They are like, most of them would be like the South African bush babies. So you see them in plenty in these hotels around Sigiriya. Recommended minimum 3-night stay. Anuradhapura I've covered. It was the seat of Buddhist capital, which moved to Polonorva. This reclining Buddha is one of the World Heritage Site. Very beautiful visit. Polonorva can be visited either as a day excursion or on your way to Kandy. Dambulla is another day excursion from Sigiriya. It's a 1.5 hour road journey. You can climb Dambulla. You can combine Dambulla with the Mineria National Park as well, where you see lots and lots of elephants. There are 7,000 elephants in whole of Sri Lanka, and Mineria has one of the most interesting sites for the elephants. So Dambulla again is a part of World Heritage Site. There are multiple caves in this, but only 6 caves are worth tourist visit, and out of which most of the tourists end up seeing 3 caves as such. So, and all these caves date back 1st and 2nd century, and they are open for tourists. Now when I was covering the map, so you also had the option of doing East Coast and West Coast. West Coast is extremely popular during Indian winters. That means your summers. And East Coast is extremely popular during your winters and our summers, which is stunning sites for surfing, deep sea diving, and they have great experiences there. So Jaffna is one of those cities. The east side is predominantly very Tamil in nature. So if you cross the bridge in Sri Lanka, which leads to the east side, it's practically coming to a different country, or probably south of India and coming down to Chennai. So it's very Hindu in probably most of the Hindus living in Sri Lanka are around the east coast of Jaffna, Trincomalee. This was the most disturbed during the Civil War as well. But yes, it's very peaceful and it has got some stunning beaches. So Jaffna has got some interesting sites. They've got some temples. Trincomalee is just 1 hour away from Jaffna and has got some amazing, amazing hotels around that area and a beautiful coastline around the area of Pasikuda. So Pasikuda is very popular during your summers, as in the Indian winters. Sorry, your winters as in the Indian summer. So East Coast is very, very popular during that time. Most of the Australians would come during this time for a lot of aquatic sports, surfing, deep sea diving. You get to see lots and lots of whales during this time. Kandy can also be traveled from Colombo, can also be traveled from Sigiriya. So Colombo to Kandy is 3.5 hours drive under the normal traffic conditions. And Kandy is one of the most beautiful cultural site of Sri Lanka. Kandy is crowded, noisy, and after you have spent few days in Sigiriya doing all those excursions which are pretty quiet, you like to get into, you would always welcome this change of noise. Kandy is mostly popular for its botanical gardens. They have got some stunning botanical gardens, but most of the things, the most important site of Kandy is the temple of Tooth Relic. This tooth relic was brought by the Princess of Kalinga from India and was kept there. And as the legend says, whosoever has the tooth becomes the emperor of Sri Lanka. And at one given time, Portuguese were owning this in the 16th century. This is a very interesting temple, and you can spend at least 4 hours at this temple. And after that, you can have a nice walk around the lake in the promenade there. One of the most well-preserved botanical gardens in the world is in Kandy, and it is stunningly, stunningly beautiful. The cultural show in Kandy is must visit. Most of our itineraries would also include this cultural show as well. And this is where you have they'll give you a snippet of the Kandy festival, the elephant festival, or the Kandian dances, we call them. As we go from Kandy, you get into the rainforest and the tea county. 170 years back, the Scottish planters brought in coffee into Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan coffee has been known as one of the finest coffees till 1800. But after that, when Portuguese and Brits came into Sri Lanka, they started, they plugged out all the coffee plantation and started tea there. So Horton Plains are known for their interesting sites. They are flatlands, but just around that is this Sinharaja forest, which is one of the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Very, very popular, almost at 8,000 feet high, and still says it has very diverse flora and fauna. But most of the foreign tourists do not go to Sinharaja, as it is predominantly packed with I would say, the domestic tourists from Sri Lanka. The tea estates are highly productive in Sri Lanka. They have the Sri Lankan, the Ceylon tea. We all consume Dilma tea. It is extremely, extremely popular in. Sorry, let me just plug them. No, I call these challenges as the semantic barriers of doing these online trainings, but my apology for this. So in the Hill County, the largest town is called Nuvra Elia. Nuvra Elia is the largest town, and it has one of the finest golf courses in Sri Lanka, one of the beautiful beautiful race course. It's not as big as the Durban race course, but still it's very, very nice, and has a stunning lakes around that. So this is the biggest town in the highlands. It has some beautiful botanical gardens as well, and this is at a 7,000 feet high, and the coldest, probably one of the finest hill stations in Sri Lanka. Most of the itineraries would include Nuvra Elia as a one-night destination and Kandy as a two-night destination. From Nuvra Elia, you can actually go to Nuvra Elia either from Kandy by this very scenic train journey, or you can take the road journey as well. What we do is we do not give you the entire train experience, but what we do is at a point in Kandy, you board the train and get off at a station called Nanao. Nanao is a station which is 45 minutes before Nuvra Elia. And then from there you can drive. After that, the journey becomes pretty boring. So we usually pick up all our passengers from there and then take them to Nuvra Elia, where they have some very nice boutique hotels as well. You also have the option of actually chartering this entire train, or probably one cabin as well if you have a smaller group, let's say 40, 45 of them. But in all probabilities, most of the people I have seen in my last few years of dealing with Sri Lanka have tried to use this as a first class. They usually enjoy the first class service in cabin in the train. This is no way compared to, this is not a luxury train. This is a regular train, but they have few compartments like this, which allows passengers to sit in the first class and enjoy the scenic beauty of Sri Lanka. In Nuvra Elia, you have, it's very colonial in nature. It's very, very English. I won't call, if I have to relate it to any of the small towns. So this would be like the Siemens town in probably close to Cape Town. So very, very colonial in nature. Some very beautiful hotels in Nuvra Elia, and you can enjoy some lovely high teas in that place. Hatton Tea Trails is one of the finest places to live in, very, very expensive. I would recommend this place for honeymooners, small families, where you are actually living in the tea bungalows. And because all these tea bungalows at one point of time were planters' villas, but now are converted into the bungalows by a company called Resplendent Ceylon. They have some stunning hotels in Sri Lanka. So from Hatton, you can also do a smaller train journey in case you miss out on a train journey from Kandy to Nuvra Elia. It's only one train leaving at one point in the day. So, and they have only got 4 compartments. So if you miss out on that train journey, sometimes it's difficult to get the train tickets, but when you miss out on the train journey, so you can do a train journey from Nuvra Elia to Ella, which is very, very beautiful. Most people are taking this train journey because that's where you get the entire view of the train. You would have seen it on Instagram and social media these days. A lot of people are putting pictures of a train where you can see the entire train from the last compartment. So that is a journey between Nuvra Elia to Ella. From the mountains, you know, the country would lead you to south, towards the bays and the coasts, and most of these coasts are usually private. But yes, I would come down to the wildlife at the moment. There are 23 wildlife parks in Sri Lanka. They have the water buffalo, they have the Asiatic elephants, they have leopards, they have panthers, they have sloth bear, and multiple species of deer as well. So Sri Lanka, if you would remember the first map which I had shown you, the first map was talking about those green patches as such. So those green patches were the wildlife park. So they have 28% of the land, which is a huge land mass in Sri Lanka, is covered by the jungles. But it is also, over the last few months, the new government in Sri Lanka is permitting the corridor within the wildlife parks. So you can imagine 7,000 elephants living in Sri Lanka, and all of a sudden human beings, 21 million living in Sri Lanka, starts poaching onto their territory, can attract trouble. So I am against this, but yes, every government will have a different thing towards their country. Mineria, which is close to Sigiriya, has approximately, you know, it's like 20% of the total contribution of the elephants there. At any given time in Mineria National Park, you will see around 400 elephants. It is one of the best parks to see the Asiatic elephants. You don't see too many tuskers here, but you see those elephants. Yala, of course, is the biggest national park in Sri Lanka. And probably, you have elephants, wild buffaloes, leopards are the common sight. No tigers in that area. Leopards are mostly dominant and diurnal in this area. Park in Lanka do not have limit to the maximum number of tourists in the park. So at times during the busy months of tourist season, parks may get little crowded. Leopard sighting, so they usually do 2 safaris a day. One safari is in the morning, which is to a different terrain, which is not a leopard terrain. Yala National Park, just for your information, is by the seaside. It is on the coast. So you can see elephants walking just next to the sea. You can see probably sloth bear next to the sea. So it's a very strange country, but very, very beautiful as such. The jeeps safaris are very, very comfortable. They have a pretty decent terrain for jeeps to ride on. Leopard sighting is extremely popular in Yala. Usually evening safaris are mostly recommended. So 2 safaris would be included in your program, in the programs what are available on Thomson's website at the moment. So we're talking about the jeep safaris and sighting some leopards. I have seen these amazing leopards for at least 17 times now. They are pretty shy in nature, but yes, a great sight to watch. Udabalawa is another park which is on a different gate, mostly known for the wild bisons. They are not as big as the bisons you would have in Africa, but yes, they are the Asiatic bisons. Welapatu is another national park which is in the north. I purposely do not recommend this national park because Yala is one of the finest. Sorry. So Galle is my favorite place to be in Sri Lanka. It used to be a Dutch colony, and then it became a Portuguese colony, and amazing place. So that they have 2 parts of Galle. What you are seeing on the picture is right now the fortress. You have got a lot of hotels inside the fortress, and outside is all coastal. So Galle has got options of staying on the coast and has the option of staying inside the fortress. It's a very, very small town, but amazing place to live in. Recommended 2 nights in Galle. If you are already staying at the beach in somewhere in Sri Lanka, then Galle can only be done for 1 night. So Galle to Colombo is like 3 hours, fantastic road journey. So there are multiple beaches in Sri Lanka, both East Coast and West Coast. So East Coast is open, as I mentioned previously, in your winter time and our summertime. In our summertime, as in the Indian and the Sri Lankan summertime, the subcontinent summertime, the West Coast is pretty much, they're pretty much moist at that point of time. It's raining as well. But so you have Trincomalee, you have Pasikuda as the main beach destination on the West Coast. But on the East Coast, on the West Coast, you have Negombo. Negombo is just 1 hour from Sri Lanka, from Colombo Airport. So most of the flights would either arrive very early in the morning or late in the evening. When the flights arrive, most of the program would also include 1 night in Negombo. So 1 night in Negombo is purely taken as a transit point, unless the flights arrive in the afternoon, when we take them directly to Sigiriya or to Kandy. Negombo has got some good hotels. It's beautiful beach town, lovely coconut groves there. One of my favorite hotels is also known as Coconut Grove. You see lovely, local life. There are a lot of fishermen villages around Negombo. Trincomalee is on the east side, very, very Tamil in lifestyle, very Indian in lifestyle, I would say South Indian in lifestyle. Pasikuda is where most of the aquatic sports happen, and Mirissa is the southernmost point. So I'm going to run another video for you now. coast, there are multiple options of doing a lot of water activities. You can visit, you can have a dolphin tour as well. You can actually hire a private catamaran to have to yourself. You can go for the surfing sessions, both on the east as well as the west coast. Most of the hotels would have few of their local vendors doing it. We usually recommend this to the clients, but there is very little time unless they are staying on the beach for 5 or 6 nights. It's, as I said, that Sri Lanka is one of the most luxurious honeymooning destination as well. And it will give Maldives, again, I won't say run for money, but a good competitive edge as well, with the mix of culture, nature, probably, as well as romantic venues. So a lot of fine dining options are also available in boutique hotels. We've got 2 Aman hotels in Sri Lanka. So one Aman hotel is by the coast in Galle. So getting a high tea or a cocktail in Aman Galle is again one of the most visited activity as well. Colombo City, you know, I have always taken Colombo City as a gateway to enter into Sri Lanka. There's nothing much beyond that in the city, but yes, depending on the flights, either you can live in Colombo, you can stay one night in Colombo and have a city tour. There's nothing much to offer, honestly saying. But in case you have clients who are seriously looking at Colombo as a city for one night stay, for shopping, because that's the only place where you can go for modern shopping. The rest, all the arts, artifacts, you can get anywhere else. But modern shopping would only be available in Colombo. This is very modern. In last 2 years, I would say I can compare it to, so if I have to consider the new Santon these days, so most of the Colombo cities become Santon now with a lot of Chinese investment in there. So Colombo, in my opinion, should be only one night destination depending on your flight schedule, and only if clients insist. This is my last slide to you, which is a small video about Sri Lanka. And after that, I will open up for question answer sessions.
Our history isn't in the past. Our heritage isn't our better times. Our culture isn't done being defined. It's in the air. It's in the earth. It's in the waters. As it has been for thousands of years, as it still is this morning. Sri Lanka isn't a place, it's a marvel, a brave new world that wasn't made by the rules. She's a rebel of nature. She's a blessing of imagination, of untold innovation and resilience. Let's tell the story of Sri Lanka with the same courage this island was born of. It's in how we love, how we believe, how we protect, how we share, how we feast, and how we heal. As we dismiss strangers by making them friends. Because that stuff of stars that is beneath our feet, the brilliance that makes the monsoon waltz around lush hills and save itself to soothe scorched plains. The wonder that makes the salty seas nurture jungles of pure paradise. And the wild beauty that stays fierce and vibrant even as time tries to quieten it is in us. And now it's time to show the world Sri Lanka as it has always been, but never been realized before.
So thank you very much, everybody. And, just to mention you that we also have the Safe Travel Stamp by World Travel Trade Council as well, because we have lived up to all the safety protocols laid down as under the new COVID guidelines. So orange in Sri Lanka, orange in India, orange in Nepal and Bhutan have this stamp, proudly have this stamp to ensure our clients' safety, our clients' well-being at the end of the day. So I'm open to all the questions now, and yeah, feel free to ask me any. Also to tell you that the programs are loaded on the site. More programs for the summer rates are still not finalized, purely based on the fact that a lot of changes are currently happening at the moment in Sri Lanka. A lot of additional costs gets added every day. So hotels have not finalized any summer rates at the moment, but it should be done in next 2 weeks time. So you should have the summer rates as well as the winter rates. But you can see the winter rates on the website now.
Thank you, Manan. That was the most beautiful presentation, very diverse, gorgeous. I'm sure we got lots of questions for you. Can I just ask, in the beginning, you mentioned about the costs for the PCR as well as the insurance. Is that paid directly to the hotel, or would it be something that we would collect on our side?
See, we have this option of including that in the cost. We can give you a supplement of these exact enhanced costs, what are now being introduced. You also have the option where clients can pay it directly either at the hotel or on arrival at the airport as well. But given the fact that a lot of people would say that, you know, this should have been paid at the point of origin, I would recommend that, you know, you charge this cost on arrival, because these are mandatory stays.
Okay, perfect. We can discuss that. That's great. Some lovely messages in there about a beautiful presentation. Please, who's got some questions for Manan? He's very passionate about his destinations.
See, I'll also, I don't mind sharing this with you. In last 3 weeks' time, we have received little over 11 queries on Sri Lanka from Cape Town and Joburg offices. My colleague Puneet has been actively responding on to all the queries as such. So I see that there is some interest for Sri Lanka, which is being developed. And also it is only going to happen when you're going to make it visible. So thank you, Angela, for putting everything on the site, because this is a destination which is open. And the good news is Nepal is also open now, and so is Bhutan, and so is India is soon. I would share the good news with you that what date India is going to be open, but in all probability, March, India would be open as well.
That's amazing. Thanks. And then I'll discuss afterwards to do some training on Nepal, which I think will also be amazing.
Happy to do that any given time.
Stunning. Anybody got any questions?
Yeah, and sorry. Hi, Manan. I've got a quick one. You just returned recently from Sri Lanka yourself.
That's right.
And how did you find all the protocols and everything personally for Sri Lanka?
See, Angie, firstly, I hope you're keeping well.
Wow, thank you.
Everything is done, and what you have seen on the video, where the protocols were shown, everything is done to the T. Nobody wants the virus from any part of the world. Everybody is very cautious. The moment you get into the plane, when you get off the plane, you are completely sanitized. Your temperature is being checked. The moment you cross the immigration, you've got people, you have the options. There are voluntary areas where you can get your test done. So I opted to get the test done at the airport. There are options of getting the test done at the hotels as well. I stayed there for 4 nights. Currently, the situation was that you had to get the test done again on the 4th day. So I had to get the test done on the 4th day. Somebody came to my hotel to get the test done. So I think hotels are pretty much sanitized. Right now, they've got 78 hotels, which are 72 hotels, which are finalized and approved for the foreign tourists. And eventually, every day, few gets added onto the list. For the time being. But the way vaccination is, the vaccination drive across the world is happening, Angie, I feel that, you know, everything is going to be fine in few days' time. And with Sri Lanka protocols, I think they are following it to the T.
Okay, thanks, man. That's great. Thanks. Great feedback.
Angie, you're there?
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Was I audible, Angie?
I said it. Yes, you were. I said thank you very much. That was great feedback. It was good to hear your personal.
Also, all the cars, what we will have, all our drivers are wearing the gloves. They don't sit in the car without sanitizing. They have their personal sanitizers. Every car has got the masks as well. They have the sanitizers, and they, in case the drivers have now been trained to ask the client whether they feel, whether they if they want to probably have the driver sanitize his hands again. So we said that please do not take it as an offense, because that's a way of actually stopping the virus. So we wanted to break the chain. So drivers have been trained by the government to react to particular questions what clients may ask or clients may have for them.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Manan. Thank you.
Perfect. Does anybody have anything else for Manan? Looks like you covered it all. Thank you, Manan. And we'll put the recording up onto YouTube. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much. And I see some lovely comments. I will respond to them now shortly. Would that be okay?
Of course, of course.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Please stay well. And I'm sure we see the light at the end of the tunnel now. The tunnel has been long, but we see the light now.
Yep, let's remain positive. Thank you, Manan.
Thank you very much, everybody, and have a wonderful, wonderful day ahead. Thank you very, very much.
Bye.
Bੜੇ अच्छे कमेंट्स आए हैं।